Hello, everyone. My name is Madan from Your Story, and on behalf of all of us at Your Story, I want to welcome all of you for Build and Grow Money Matters. Today, we have joining with us Rishabh Karwa, the co founder of GoMechanic, who will be speaking to us about the phenomenal growth of his startup and how they have reinvented themselves in the aftermath of the pandemic. Rishabh began his professional career in real estate, but soon took the entrepreneurial plunge in 2016 with GoMechanic. An engineer by training, Rishabh takes care of marketing, product, and design functions of the company. From offering free services to essential services workers to rolling out revival packages for cars, the startup has grown to become one of the marquee names in the organized car workshops and garage spaces in India. Welcome aboard, Rishabh.
Yeah.
My first question to you would be to maybe share with us your backstory. How would you sum up your journey from 2016 to today? How many garages, partners do you have under your umbrella, Rishabh?
Yeah. So we started in 2016 in Gurgaon. We are four founders, Nitin, Kushal, Amit, and I. Okay. So our aim when we started in 2016 was just to be the best of both worlds. We know that the OEM, the authorized service centers offer is good quality service at a very high price. And there is definitely the local mechanics, the mom and pop shops who we for sure know offer as affordable services, but at poor quality or not a standardized manner. So we wanted to be something in between, offering as an affordable service at the best quality and the best process. So that's how we started in 2016 with the aim, and we launched our website. But soon we realized there are multiple facets to this problem. There's a brand aspect to it. There's a spares aspect to it. There's this training aspect. There's the standardization of all the services. There's the supply chain of spares, and then we have taken up each challenge one by one a year after that, and we are here right now at 25 cities across India, doing approximately 20,000 plus cars a month, servicing and repairs and supplying spares to them.
Those are some very interesting and impressive numbers there, Rishabh. Can you share with us some of the experiences you've had with the COVID? Obviously, the biggest question on people's minds these days, especially with the second wave, is COVID-19 and how do companies survive? So, in your case, what are some innovations and technologies that you've tapped to pivot on to new opportunities? Rishabh?
So we were shocked when the lockdowns happened, and it was definitely unprecedented times when it happened in the last March, during the third week of March. We had launched our products just then, and we weren't prepared to change them or malleably shift them into something which is lockdowns in specific regions. So we saw is a lot of development on our technology front. We changed our technology based on how the lockdowns evolved. We changed our tracking techniques for our mechanics, advisors, and everybody to make sure that these guys are protected during the contact. We try to make sure the service is contactless. We put in and established this cameras, photographs. We developed this technology for our operations team. And definitely this entire development during this phase has helped us offer is even a better service to our customers. We did see our NPS ratings go higher post the lockdown as well. We did see as a better fulfillment rate. So we saw as a few silver linings, but this entire journey has helped us build this better product and offer is better experiences out of this process. Especially with the customer requests which we have been receiving, that most of them were looking for an option where they didn't want to visit as workshops. They wanted is something on the in the terms of a free pickup and drop, a contactless service, and that is something we have been able to offer during this entire 1 year, which has helped our customers take is repair their cars or service their cars even during lockdowns, even during emergencies, and this has been, I think, a good achievement on our front.
Thanks, Rishabh. Tell us a little bit more about the lockdown period and what happened just after that. How did you manage the surge in the services just after the lockdown? We've heard about, the COVID revival package. We read about your Open for Heroes initiative. Can you drill a bit more into that, Rishabh? Thanks.
Yes. So, Mechanic is a digital first company. So most of our demand is generated digitally. So what happened post the lockdown is, or during the lockdown period is, we saw is a lot of surge in people going online and trying to find his car repairs and services. Okay, so we had to cater to these services, and at the same time, we launched is an Open for Heroes campaign, especially for the doctors and the medical professionals and the ambulances. So just in case if somebody was stranded on the roads or had a breakdown on the roads, we would have our network ready. We did take a permission from the government authorities to provide as a free roadside assistance or a breakdown emergency assistance service to these professionals and these frontline warriors. So we did that, and then what we saw was also is a part of problem solving where clusters or micro containment zones were blocked from delivery and pickup, or we were not allowed to enter societies or certain areas. So we had to change our technology, which was we had to drill it down to a hyper local base and make sure that it was turned on and off based on pin codes, regions, or micro containment zones. At the same time, we had to develop as a technology for our workshops to make sure they were wearing masks, make sure they were sanitized, make sure they were temperature checked, and at the same time, make sure all the cleanliness or the vaccinations or the sanitizations of the workshops were happening at the same time. So this was our journey through it. We definitely did see a surge in demand, and we saw is a lot of hardcore problem solving from our technology and our operations team during this period.
Those are very good lessons for our audience right there, Rishabh. Thanks. It's all about problem solving and staying innovative. Another very important part of success also is partnerships. So, can you tell us how you ensured partner garages and workshops adhered to your working styles and ethics? Were there any incentives or bailouts that you helped with them with to stay afloat, Rishabh?
So what we have is 450 workshops across on our network, okay, across pan India, starting from Chennai to even like our base Gurgaon NCR to Chandigarh. So these 450 workshops are on our technology stack. So let's say a workshop has an advisor, mechanic, or an owner. All of these folks use is our technology, which is the garage application and the dashboards which we have made for them. Now these applications track is every step or help them or guide them is during every step of their process, starting from a service repair to a spares procurement part to their settlements to their billing to making sure that these guys pick up is a vehicle on time, deliver is a vehicle on time, make sure the escalations are solved or resolved on time. So all of these systems are clubbed into a penalty and reward system, which through their settlement is solved. And at the same time, this app or this system also does is keep it check on the spare parts used in the car. It keeps it check on the process, the complete OTP system which we have, and make sure that an experience is standardized across all of these cities, across all of these partners. And we also have is our operations team on the ground, which are called as service buddies. These guys help these workshops in managing their units and give us a standardized experience to every customer.
Thanks, Rishabh. That's a very impressive journey so far. Can you tell us a bit more about what's next? What are some new, maybe workshop additions you have for the next 3 to 5 years? What's next on your radar, Rishabh?
So as I said, we have around 450 workshops right now. We aim to reach around 10,000 workshops in next 3 years. That's our aim. We are right now in a few tier 2 cities, but our aim is also to launch is at least 10 to 15 more tier 2 cities in the next 1 or 2 years. What we see is also our spares channels, which we have been building very aggressively in the last 1 year. We see is our spares distribution network and our supply chain reaching is a lot more cities than these cities. We intend to provide as our GoMechanic spares at the same time a lot of OES and OEM spares in a controlled supply chain manner to a lot of retailers and a lot of workshops outside our network as well across India. So this is our aim in the next 3 to 5 years to standardize the supply chain for spares to make sure our network reaches is even the in most of the tier 2 cities in India, and also to have is a garage management software SaaS kind of product so that nobody has actually built any technology for the retailers or the garages in India. We intend to do that. We intend to build as a technology for these garages so that the complete process or data across in this ecosystem is standardized and it's more organized than it is right now.
That's a very interesting market we spotted right there. Among others, Rishabh, we talked about the software workflow for garages. You also mentioned spares very briefly over there. Tell us a bit more about spares and how unorganized is this space and how do you hope to organize it with your platform, Rishabh?
Right. Right. So a normal invoice of a repair or a service with like of any car you take in the market, generally 70% of it is the spare parts and 30% of it is the labor component of it. So if you are able to standardize the spare parts used in the car, you basically solve is the complete solution of a car service or a car repair. So what we have been able to do is, once we started is generating demand, we also went a step further and we started offering our customers is standardized and guaranteed spare parts, genuine spare parts, and we started supplying this to our workshops through our technology stack. So what we do is, as we have a network of workshops, we also build is a network of retailers, which can be a franchisee retailers or can be a partner retailers. And these retailers become our supply chain to distribute spare to these workshops. So these retailers uses a stack of technology, and the workshops uses a technology stack, and this is connected. So just in case, for an example, if you require as a clutch set for a Volkswagen Polo, you would be able to connect to the nearest retailer and get it within a few hours through the GoMechanic network. And this spare part would be a genuine spare part guaranteed by us, an OEM and OES spare parts, depending on the brand. And based on this million SKUs which we have been able to standardize, we are able to provide a spare parts just in time or even bulk orders across all our network of workshops. And this has helped us elevate a customer experience and at the same time assure on the quality of the service and make sure the warranties and the guarantees are maintained.
That's great, Rishabh. You also brought quality to an industry which has been so unsegmented and also not so high quality. We also noticed that the one of the first spares outlets of yours, platforms of yours, was in Bhopal. Tell us a bit more about that move and the choice of city. Are you specifically beginning with more of the non-metros and tier two, tier three cities before coming to the bigger ones, Rishabh?
So what we realized was, in case of spare parts, there's a lot of information or knowledge disparity across India. So let's say Delhi NCR is the biggest market of spare parts, and if you go to Chennai or Bhopal or to a tier two city, you won't find there's a lot of spare parts, which you will find a lot of spare parts which aren't available over there, but they are available in the Delhi NCR market. So what we did was we realized that this problem that a lot of workshops, even outside our network, outside our cities, don't have an access to is a lot of spare parts, especially body shop parts, especially the rare parts like sensors, like transmissions, like clutch sets. And what we started establishing is our franchisees of retailers across these cities, where we saw is heavy surge in demand of spare parts. So Bhopal was the one of the cities which has our franchisee. There are a lot of tier two cities like Surat, Guwahati, even in Kargil, we have as our spares franchisee. So we are able to supply spare parts to these franchisee stores via our central network and our warehousing systems. And these retailers and franchisees cater to is the local demand of spare parts over there. So that is how we intend to reach is different corners of India, where especially there is a dearth of access to a lot of genuine spare parts and OES spare parts, and these guys require as a supply chain distribution for these spares.
That's a very impressive set of network cities you've built there, Rishabh. Let's take a step back and try and look at the overall industry. Can you tell us about the automobile industry? What are some trends that you're seeing, and how do players like you fit into this service space for the automobile industry, Rishabh?
So aftermarket auto repairs industry is a very big industry. It's, the way we have calculated it, we see it to be around a $10 billion industry, including the spare parts business. So what we have right now is a very small percentage of the industry, but what we see is a lot of organization, a lot of technology influence is needed, especially in this industry. So what we realized is nobody has ever built any kind of technology for the retailers, for the distributors, for the workshops, garages, advisors, mechanic, anytime during this period or this last decade. So what we see is we can become an influential part, or a lot of players who can come in along with us. A lot of our competitors also are trying to do it, can come in and influence and organize this entire ecosystem and make sure that the supply chain of spare parts and the garages are on a technology platform, and organize this entire experience so that the customer who goes through an experience of a service or repair can get a very smooth experience, and at the same time make sure that everything is original and genuine and get warranties and this thing. So what we also see is a lot of authorized players, like the Hyundai authorized players or Maruti authorized players. these guys are not able to cater to is a lot of customers. So let's say there's an MG which you have recently bought, but you won't find as an MG authorized workshop near you, or even the rare brands like Nissan, Renault, or Skoda, you won't find their authorized service centers close to your location. So what you have to do is to get your car serviced, you need to get in touch with a workshop or a garage, or get the spare parts of your car arranged somehow. So a lot of standardization is needed in the industry, and what we see is that this is a big opportunity for anybody who wants to solve this problem.
Those are some good insights into the supply chain, Rishabh. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about consumer trends. What are some consumer behavior shifts that you're seeing? What were consumers' expectations before? What do they expect now? What are the spending patterns? What do you see in the consumer space now, Rishabh?
So we launched our app, which we thought was a app for car servicing and repair, was something we thought nobody would ever keep. We saw big success with it when we launched in 2018. So it has been 1.5 years. So what we see is a lot of behavior of consumers across standardization of prices. So what we see is consumer like is standardized services. They like is packages. They want to choose from is detailing. They want it like an e-commerce kind of a flow where the way we offer it is we offer is 12 categories of services which are standardized for prices for across 380 brands and models. So a consumer is able to choose is a detailing service, a package, even a mud flap, even a clutch set, even a shocker. So they are able to look at the upfront price of the part which they are going to purchase. They are able to look at the discounts, the offers which we are offering. And this shift is gradual, but it has been accelerated post the lockdowns and post COVID, because a lot of users are looking for digital options, or they don't intend to visit to a workshop. They want their car picked up and delivered back to them at their home or at their offices. And an app is the best thing where you can book. So what we see is a lot of trend where users are looking for standardized services, upfront pricing, discounts, offer, and a very sale oriented mindset at the same time. Something which this is the highest form of consumer tech you can build, because you are managing a very costly asset of the consumer. Around average price is 6 lakh rupees. So they want is live notifications. They want is live service buddies whom they can speak to, photographs of the repairs which are happening. So this has been an exciting adventure for us as well, to solve the problems of users based on their requirements.
That's a great analysis of the consumer space there, Rishabh. Tell us a bit more now about funding. That's the other big question many of the audience members have right now. How does one get funding? How to use the funds? So, from your experience, can you share with us how did you go about raising funds, and how did you use and deploy these funds and so on, Rishabh?
Right. So all of us are first-time founders, four of us. So this has been pretty exciting for us as well, because we were very new to this raising funds. And so what I like to advise everybody is, if you guys create as value in general with whatever you're trying to solve. I think the investors generally the funding problem is solved, because the investors then find there's a lot of value in your company, and what they find is a lot of potential. So all of the problems across, let's say the market size or TAM, or even the product technology or the product market fit, automatically gets solved if you are able to solve is the problem for the customer, and if you have is paying customers who are paying on the product. So we chase is that we try to optimize is everything for our customers, and then the funding rounds generally align themselves. So we definitely have some of the best investors in the market, like Sequoia Capital and Orias and Chirate. And we intend to utilize these funds definitely to in technology itself. We intend to organize as the segment. We intend to launch as more geographies, and we have global ambitions as well. So that's the aim.
Thanks, Rishabh, for bringing up the very important concept of value. It's not just funding or money, it's value. Now, the theme of this whole show is money matters. So let me ask you, what is your relationship with money? As a founder, do you look for a large infusion of money so you can think of retirement, or do you want a steady, consistent, healthy return on your investment? So what's your expectation of the flow of money, for example, Rishabh?
Personally, I let's say me being a little younger than a few of the other founders in the industry, I have is a little aggressive approach towards this. My funds, there's no retirement in coming years, and I am able to use my investments, let's say, even in small cases in cryptocurrencies, even in equities. So that's my general approach, is to at least learn something from is my investing approach, to understand is how a lot of technologies or a lot of these equity markets, even the S&P 500 or Indian small cases work, how do they function. So that's my approach as of now, is to just gather as much knowledge as I can, so that in future years I'm able to just not make the same mistakes which I will be making in my younger years. So yeah,
Very
that's
encouraging advice for the other aspiring founders in our audience. My next question to you also about money matters is what has been your experience so far with investors, lenders, banks, and so on? What were your expectations? What are your expectations now? Are they being met, Rishabh?
so the way about it is, we have seen historically banks like, let's say, Chase in United States of America, or even Sumitomo Mitsui in Japan. These banks have been able to banks have been able to bank is the complete entrepreneurial ventures of these countries like Japan or United States. So my expectations with Indian banks or the Indian lending systems is definitely to be able to use the Indian capital and lend is a lot of entrepreneurial or founder oriented, or a lot of businesses, small businesses and even medium sized and even startups, so that a lot of capital, which a lot of Indian capital can be utilized again back in the country, and we are able to solve with a lot more problems. So that is what I expect from the banks, is to come up with programs, and a lot of them are doing as well, and to come up with a lot of programs to help is smaller companies, medium sized companies, and lend money, so that a lot of these problems get solved and a lot of funds are accumulated generally and distributed back again into the system.
So, as we begin to wrap up, Rishabh, can you share with us, with our audience, maybe 2 or 3 tips for founders in the audience? What does it take to be a founder? What does it take to go from concept to scale, to struggle, to overcome hardships, and so on? Can you give maybe 3 tips for the aspiring founders in the audience?
So I think one of the first step would be in the initial years of the company, or whenever you're thinking you want to start up. What a lot of them have to realize is, most of the things you'll have to do it yourself. So I don't come from a marketing background. I don't come from is a product background as well. I'm a civil engineer. But what you can do is have an open mind and try to learn is everything. So I learned as marketing, I learned as product, I learned as technology, and a lot of things you'll have to do simultaneously. So you won't have the best of the resources or the best of the managers and product technology team initially. So a lot of founders should have is the will to learn and keep learning maximum things they can. I think the second thing would be is most of the problems are, or most of the things fall in place when you just show up. So what founders have to realize is, like, startups don't die cause of funds, but they die cause founders run out of energy. So it's very important to just show up every day, 7 days of the week, uh, 12 hours of the day, and for years to go on. And most of the problems which you see will automatically be solved. Things will start falling in place. If you keep solving is an individual problem every day and keep showing up every day, most of your problems and most of your difficulties will just automatically start falling in place. So these are my two advices which I would like to kind of pass on through this medium. Yeah.
That's a good spirit of optimism and also a note of caution in there. That's very good advice indeed for the founders. So finally, Rishabh, what is it that you find exciting in this business? It's a lot of hard work. You mentioned all the struggles you've gone through. The pandemic is, not no end in sight, etc. But still, you seem to have so much passion and excitement. What is it that excites you about being a founder, especially in this space, Rishabh?
Yeah. So I think one thing which keeps me going, and most of the founders, I'm pretty sure it keeps most of the founders going, is every day is a different problem. So if you wake up every day and you go to work every day, you come across as a different set of problems, and it's a different kind of experience every day. So you just have the motivation comes naturally, because if you're interested in solving is something for the consumer. Let's say for example, I'm in touch with a lot of our customers as well, and a lot of customer have a few complaints regarding to the system, and this in general provides me the motivation to solve is to make our system perfect enough so that none of the customers has any escalations at GoMechanic. So this itself, the ability to wake up every day and go to work and find a new problem, and the the excitement for it eventually translates into the motivation to just continue doing what you're doing and take up enough responsibility to solve them. So I think that is what most of them also look for, and it's the same thing. Yeah.
Great, Rishabh. It's so good to hear such energy and enthusiasm during such tough times, especially. I think three key takeaways I have from our session today has been the three S's: supply, scale, and service. India has many broken supply chains, distribution chains. Find those opportunities. Build for scale. India is a massive market and there's a huge world out there. So build from scale from day one. And service. Make sure you give outstanding service, a wow service to your customers so they keep coming back to you and to nobody else. Thank you so much, Rishabh. This has been a fantastic session. Thank you. Thank you.